Looks like the reports are that Malik Nabers is not going to, in fact, miss 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season. If I was a betting man right now, I would guess there is about a 50-50 chance that Malik Nabers is going to be active in week 1. We have done a lot of dooming and glooming about Malik Nabers on this channel and on others. I've been drafting Malik Nabers fairly aggressively compared to the rest of the market. Just honestly, it is so hard for me to imagine Tetairoa and McMillan outscoring Malik Nabers in week 15, 16, and 17. Now, it is definitely true, as they say, you do have to get there, and Malik Nabers is not going to be that helpful of a guy to get you there. However, the reporting is right now that he has not been placed on the physically unable to perform list as of yet. Now, we should be very clear about how the PUP works, right? So the reporting is that Malik Nabers right now is not on the physically unable to perform list. It does not necessarily mean that he cannot go on the physically unable to perform list. And we even got a nice little blurb here on DraftKings.com. Shout out to our friends over on DraftKings. Nabers was not among the Giants placed on the active PUP list Thursday. The team is expected to bring the wideout along slowly. Now, Jordan Renan, I gotta say, Jordan Renan has not had one accurate report on this situation, so I maybe wouldn't exactly go with what Mr. Renan is saying. I would say right now, I don't think it is overwhelmingly likely that Nabers goes on the physically unable to perform list during the course of the season. A lot of what a lot of fantasy managers were thinking would be that Malik Nabers would at some time go on the physically unable to perform list and not play the first 4 games of the season. As my friend Dreaming of Sunday says, he cannot go on the training camp pump after next week, right? So that is one of the big decisions. That's a decision point they have to do early. So we'll see. I would say as of right now, the move is probably to get fairly aggressive on Malik Nabers. Again, you can always disagree with me. I'm sure plenty of people will disagree with me on Malik Nabers. It actually would not be that surprising to me that some fantasy managers will basically not move Malik Nabers in their ranks. Just one thing that has been sort of interesting as we draft in this DraftKings Millie Maker draft, $3 million up top. We are, well, maybe going to get a little bit of James Cook, maybe a little bit of Ashton Genty. We are picking here at the turn. And let's do, I don't know, should we do Genty? Should we do Genty Hampton, Genty Barkley? AJ Brown is creeping up. All right, so let's do Genty. And let's do Barkley. Let's just do a real boring start here. And then let's maybe try and get Nabers at 36. I beg to differ, and I do encourage my fellow drafters to select Nabers spelled incorrectly by all means. Well, brother, I just don't imagine that's going to work out for you. But, you know, hey, it always could. And yes, great quote here. It's tough to be precise, but this is clearly directionally positive. I completely agree with that analysis. To me, Malik Nabers is one of the biggest difference-making picks in the 4th round. I was taking Malik Nabers in the 4th round on DraftKings plenty. I would be happy to continue taking Malik Nabers in the 4th round, though anecdotally, just after observing some of my drafts this morning, I don't think there's any way he stays there. My guess is that over the next week, Malik Nabers gets into this Devonta Smith, Chris Olave, Igbuka, Flowers range. I've got my rankings updated on Flock Fantasy right now. Why would you start drafting Nabers now, considering he's going to be the highest price he's been all season? Well, some of us have been drafting Nabers this whole time, D's. Some of us have not been coping on Malik Nabers. Some of us have been drafting a first-round pick in the 4th round of fantasy football drafts. Can't say that everyone has been doing that, but I have been one of the people doing that. Pick 29 sounds about right. I guess my question to you guys would be, if we get clear evidence that Malik Nabers is not going to miss any games, where would he go? If he was not going to miss any games, if we knew that he was going to be playing in week 1, now I'm not saying how healthy he's going to be. I'm not going to say how many routes, but if you just knew that he was not on the PUP list, and you just played week 1 for the New York Giants, where would you have him? Would you have him ahead of Nico? Would you have him ahead of Drake London? Would you have him ahead of AJ Brown? Would you have him after that list or no? My quantitative, Mr. Mike Clay, has Nabers in 15 games scoring more than Waddle and McLaurin through 17 games. Again, that sounds about right to me. I got CeeDee and Jefferson at 12 and 13. Yeah, that's so fire. That's so good. Middle second sounds about right to me. Am I going to be doing an FFPC main event with Mr. Tampa 200, aka Chess Liam? I'd like to. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Unclear on my exact drafting schedule. I will probably do, I don't know, we'll probably do about 10 main events. Got the one signed up with Silva, Thorman, Reeves, and JJ, which, by the way, all of the redraft content on the channel this year, I've mentioned this a couple times, but I'm going to keep mentioning it. All of the redraft content is not going to be on this channel. So if you want to watch any of those, you have to go subscribe to the Davis Maddock Fantasy Football channel, Maddock Fantasy Football. And if you don't, you are going to miss out on a lot of good content. So I would suggest subscribing over there. What is the point of the training camp pup list? Someone smarter than me is going to have to answer that. I believe that the point of the training camp pup list is it gets an extra roster spot. I also think there's teams maybe save a little bit of money. And I if I remember correctly, you can be removed from the training camp pup list at any time if you're placed on it right now. It's a little bit of an arcane rule, and it changes every time they negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement. But maybe Dreaming of Sundays or someone in the chat knows the exact point of that, but I honestly don't. There you go. So Nabers at pick 33. I mean, to me, I would probably rather have Nabers than Zay Flowers. I'm happy to be alone there. Nabers easily at the 2-3 turn if he doesn't miss any games. Mid-second, take him as wide receiver 2 or 3. Could be deadly come the playoff weeks. I completely agree. There you go. So I was right. Yeah, you can't be removed from it. It's now or never once camp starts. So that is basically the point. Will Nabers going up slow the Waddle rise? I don't think so. I think that one's going in one direction. I think the Jaylen Waddle stuff is one direction only. We are going to take, you know what? Let's kind of just chalk this up, man. Actually, no, let's take Bryce, and then I will be part of the Jaylen Waddle rise. So we have Genty, Barkley, Jaylen Waddle, and one Mr. Bryce Hall there. It depends on a player's contract, but yes, the team can save a good amount of money. There you go. There are lots of reasons, basically, for all of these small procedural moves in the NFL, to the point that, I mean, the way I've always understood it, if they try and legislate these things to get teams to behave appropriately and honestly, because there's lots of teams that would try and negotiate and basically be underhanded or obfuscate reasons for placing guys on the pup list if there were not negative consequences. In a start 4 wide receiver league, is it better to have Jamar at the 110 or Waddle at the 603? I mean, my answer to all these kinds of questions is just in general going to be I always want the best player. That's me. I always want the best player. In any of these things, keeper formats or whatever, I just want the best player. If certain guys are steaming up or who will be trending down, or you have to come again for me, Big Fudge. I did not get that one. Well, I guess I'm part of the problem, man, because I just took Jaylen Waddle at 37, and frankly, I'm happy to do it. Fantasy football analysts love Jaylen Waddle. I was telling this to who was that? I was talking to Ian Hartitz yesterday. I did the RotoWire Fantasy Football Show with Ian Hartitz yesterday, and I was telling him there's not a bigger difference in fantasy football analysts versus fantasy football content consumers than Jaylen Waddle. Fantasy football analysts love Jaylen Waddle. Fantasy football content consumers, they are done. They are over it. They do not want to be told about Jaylen Waddle at all. They're like, all right, man, I get it. He had one good year 4 years ago, but all I've done is watch Jaylen Waddle in the medical tent. I'm done. I'm out. GM, my guy, GM. My favorite round 7-18 wide receivers, Tyquan Thornton, Keenan Allen. I don't hate Keon Coleman, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Surratt. There are actually plenty that I like. Pulling up Waddle to the 3rd, pairing with a Tet, Wilson, Burden, Loveland. Completely agree. Do I have a read on the Chiefs PROE? If not, over under plus 3%. I mean, the Chiefs have led the NFL in pass rate over expectation, lapping the field on PROE even last year. I would take the over. There's got to be a chart I can pull up. Here we go. NFLEO.app. 2025 the Kansas City Chiefs were +4 PROE, and that was with that, that was the worst ever version of their team. Can I pull this for 2024? Because they've had some hilarious years on PROE. Like last year was one of their down years for pass rate over expectation. There's got to be a way that I can pull up. Can I not filter this for another year? I guess not. So there you go. They were +4 in a year that Mahomes tore his ACL and that they sucked. Okay, there you go. A player must be on training camp PUP to be eligible for regular season PUP. So that is good to know as well. If Nabers didn't get hurt, aren't we taking him in the mid first? Well, concerns about the offense being a little bit more run heavy. They fired everyone. They bring in Isaiah Likely. So at least one more career, eligible guy. Like Nabers has played with nothing but jamokes in his NFL career. Although I guess Wan'Dale, not a jamoke. Wan'Dale at least can earn targets. Guys like Waddle and Nabers start gaining steam and move up. What guys do I see dropping back or losing steam? I mean, I think Tet will just be a natural faller because there's nothing that exciting about Tetairoa and McMillan. I mean, T. Higgins fell to 41 in this draft. I could see ETN continuing to fall down. If Nabers is not on training camp PUP, he's not eligible for regular season PUP. There we go. I think a decent round 20 click could be Jaylen Polk. Is Jaylen Polk on the New Orleans Saints? I'm out on that, but hey, I'm more of a Bryce Lance guy. Yes, I will continue to erase Jalen Hyatt. I'm interested to see what it'll be this year with the K9 signing. I would be stunned. I would be absolutely stunned, Harbs, if it was not at least 3%. I'm going to find a different table that has different years for that because the Chiefs have had years of being 8% PROE over the course of the entire season. That's just what Andy does, man. Here you go. So this is a slightly different computation. I've got ETR has them with 6.3% neutral PROE. Like Andy just wants to throw the ball, brother. Man. All right. I'm just not going to pass on Henderson here. And then, all right, this is for Liam. P-Wash, Parker Washington, Genty, Barkley, Bryce, Jaylen Waddle, Trevion Henderson, Parker Washington should be able to get Trevor Lawrence at the next turn, I think. In a vacuum, in a PPR best ball league, Tuten, Stevenson, Fannin. I'm a Henderson owner, loaded at tight end with Bowers and McBride. Who would I keep? I mean, I would keep Tuten. I would definitely keep Tuten. I'm a big Bhayshul Tuten guy. Here we go. We've got so this is through week. Here you go. Another one. This is actually excluding week 17. This is from Draft Sharks. There you go. 6%. And that was again. I would be legitimately floored if the Chiefs did not lead the NFL in PROE. I would be legit, like that would be a legitimate surprising outcome for this season. I get Tet, Bird, and lots of the 4-5 turn on DK. I mean, yeah, the DK drafters, I mean, it's very explainable why DraftKings is a little bit more random, which is just that their player base is quite wide. The daily active users on DraftKings is, I believe, like 4.5 million daily active users on DraftKings. That's a lot of daily active users. So you just have a wider base of people, and these are people that don't, they're not like me. It's not Friday, July 24th, and they're not thinking about drafting their 1500th fantasy football team of the season. Was T at the 2-3 turn last year? That is my memory. Doesn't mean I'm right about it, but that is my memory of what the 2-3 turn situation was last year. Fellow Tuten Bull, do the recent Cohen quotes move you at all? I mean, it would be hard for me to move Tuten up more than I already have him because I have Tuten ranked first of the group of DeAndre Swift, Montgomery, Judkins, Bucky, Henderson, and Price. I have Tuten ranked first of that group. So it's hard for me to move him higher. I could see if the preseason is bullish enough, or if we get confirmed reporting that Chris Rodriguez does actually have a Jones fracture, because that's the rumor. The rumor is that Chris Rodriguez has a Jones fracture to his foot. And if that's true, I could see Tuten getting up to, I could actually see Tuten getting to the Javonte Breece Hall range. And I draft a little bit of Rome, but I'm pretty comfortable with the Luther Burden bag as it sits right now. Yes, now that I remember, because Arizona Cincinnati was the Week 17 game last year, so a lot of people were doing Chase 101, then McBride, then T. Higgins. DK wider base is not best ball specific, so makes easier rooms. But yes, I mean, we talked about this on when I did Neil's show on Wednesday, and we talked about this, which is that on DraftKings, you feel like, oh, dude, I'm so smart. I'm a genius. Look how good I am. Look at my super team. And then you get to the final, and all the teams are super teams, right? Because that's the way it goes. Also, the contest is massive. The what is it? 900,000 entrants in this contest, right? Isn't that right? It's got to be, right? Where do I find that? Rules and scoring, contest details. I think I might have to click on it in the lobby. But yeah, it's a bazillion people are in this tournament. So very, very hard tournament to win. Yes, yeah, you can do the Jefferson Genty start, which is I mean, it's quite a nice start. All right, how are we going to do this next turn? Let's check the old Flock Fantasy overlay. We do have Lawrence, Makai Lemon. Liam was pushing back on me on Makai Lemon this morning, and I'm like, man, it's just such an interesting thing, the way you evaluate fantasy football when you don't care about college football at all. I'm not even saying one way is better than the other, but if you don't care about college football at all, you just think about best ball and fantasy football and all these things in such a different way. Does Nabers settle at the 2-3 turn? Yes. Do I think Built to Spill are the greatest skateboard music video band ever? No. Greatest skateboard music video band ever is Modest Mouse. For sure, Modest Mouse. All right. We are going to do Lawrence and Lemon at this turn here. I understand that there are Cortland Sutton Bowls out there, but they are not for me. All right, that gives us Trevor Lawrence, Ashton Genty, Saquon Barkley, Jaylen Waddle, Parker Washington, Makai Lemon, Breece Hall, and Trevion Henderson as our first 8 picks in this draft. I don't know. Do we think Leone hates Lemon? I guess we'll find out soon. Apparently, Leone is back from his vacation. Back from his, you want to know a crazy thing? How about this this ripple in the universe? How about this? Leone and I did the exact same hike in the Grand Tetons the day after one another. How about that for a small world? Leone and I both hiked up the exact same mountain to the exact same glacial lake one day after another. That's a small world, dude. That's wild. Ooh, Interpol is a great shout for best skateboarding music band. That's actually a really good point. Interpol very high up there. Imagine Leone and I running into each other on top of a mountain. I mean, that would be all time. Like, climb up to the top of a mountain. Leone, he's getting away. He's touching grass. He's spending some time, not grinding the decimals. Yeah, I found out after the hike because I texted Michael after the hike. I think I texted him last Sunday because I wanted to confirm if he is still in to run back our Silver Bullet team, assuming that I'm able to get it set up on site credits. And I asked him when he's coming back to work. And he told me, and he's like, he sent me a picture of the hike. And then I was like, you're kidding, dude. And I sent him a picture of the same hike, which is, it's very funny. Small world type stuff. We're sitting in Antarctica when you were talking to Pete on the tout video. No, but it was very cold. It was very cold. I was right outside of Yellowstone National Park when I was doing that video. I was about 20 miles outside of Yellowstone National Park, sitting out in front of a lake and just vibing. Good trip, though. I imagine you reach the top of the mountain and Leone's up there waiting for you like the Oracle at Delphi. You simply ask Terrence Ferguson. He nods and you smile and shed a single tear. Except Leone would be the opposite. Leone would say, reach inside yourself, seek what you know to be true, and draft Colby Parkinson. That is exactly what Leone would lead me down the other path. Which, hey, you should, I guess you should be drafting a little bit of Colby Parkinson. If your Terrence Ferguson bags are the size of my bags, then you probably should be doing, a smidgen of Colby Parkinson. All right, what are we going to do here? Probably need a wide receiver. I've got Knicks with Waddle. Wide receiver is kind of dead here. I mean, Worthy is there. Myers is there. Myers would give me the double stack. Myers, the Jaguar, I probably take least enthusiastically. How many days till Brooks's ADP is ahead of Chuba? I mean, it's basically coming now. Where did Brooks go in this one? Brooks went at 92. Hubbard went at 77. We're getting there. It's any day now. All right, so we're gonna do Knicks, which I like, and then should we take Jacoby or should we do something else? I mean, Jacoby. I mean, it's just you probably just do the stack. You know what? We didn't see a Grizzly. We did see a young brown bear. Gonna take Bo Nix and Jacoby. We did see like a juvenile brown bear and hightailed it out of there after seeing the juvenile brown bear. But we also saw Grizzly from very far away. I saw Grizzly. We were up on a ridge watching. There's this valley in Yellowstone where basically every morning a pack of wolves walk across. It's like a ritual. Like if you get up at 3 a.m. and go drive to this valley, you can go see these wolf puppies and their mom walk across this valley. And going there to go see that, we saw like probably like a 4-year-old grizzly bear just playing around, just laughing, hanging out. He was like, he kind of saw some elk and kind of pretended like he was going to chase him and they ran away from it. It was a pretty cool thing. Am I woke to 2nd-round pick Max Clare? I think McVay wants to teach people his name. I'm not woke. I mean, I didn't even like him before the draft, but here, let's pull Max Clare up over on flockfantasy.com. Let me change the filter to tight end. Max Clare, tight end 1 upside, better grade than I would have thought. He did not do enough drills at the combine to get a RAS, but I need to change the filter to receiving yards per team pass attempt. Where do I find that for the tight ends? Actually, no, career yards per route run is what I want. 1.74 career yards per route run. My guy. Wow, funny. T-Ferg, worst prospect. There you go. Learn something new every day. The Max Clare. I'm doing great today, Mr. Russell. I hope you're doing well as well. I don't know if you said this already, but where would you rank Nabers now? So I'm going to go update my rank. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it right now. Let's just go update my ranking, my 2026 ranking on Nabers right now. I'm going to move Nabers. I'm going to move Nabers right here. I'm going to move Nabers to 27. Bang. Published. So if you are a flockfantasy.com subscriber, go check that out. But I moved Nabers. I moved Nabers up to 27. That feels right to me. Ooh, you know what? A reminder, while we are talking about Flock, if you do sign up, I would love to send you $100,000. Anyone who signs up for Flock Fantasy using code Davis until week 17 in December gets a chance to win 5% of my winnings in fantasy football in this upcoming season. Any best ball contest, any big high-stakes fantasy football contest where I take down a six-figure prize, there will be one entrant randomly selected in December after week 17 who gets a chance to win a chunk of my portfolio. So sign up on Flock Fantasy using code Davis to enter into the drawing. There you go. There you go. Shout out to my guy Ben, gifting 5 memberships. Give a big salute there. Say thank you to Ben if you got one. Looks like Mr. Russell got one as well. Is 80% exposure on Nabers in 140 drafts good? I mean, you are definitely going to get a huge amount of closing line value on Malik Nabers, but it would be hard for me to have 80% of anyone because I am I'm such a scared guy. The other day I hopped in a random fast puppy and you were in it and sniped my Jared Goff. Well, Ben, I was auto drafting those, so I apologize for sniping you, but that contest was about to close and I was like, man, I gotta just get these done, fired in some rankings. All right, we are up in 2 picks. I will be passing on Isaiah Likely, whose ADP is about to be a huge faller. Concepcion fits here. I could take Malik Willis. Let's do Concepcion. We have a 2-4-5-0. You know what? Chig is a week 17 bring back. Let's do that. That's a Jags bring back. So that works for me there. When I was in Alaska, we went kayaking in a giant glacier fed pond for about 2 hours. And when we finished, the guy that came back for the kayaks told it was a good thing we didn't come back. As an hour ago, a grizzly just mauled 4 people in the campsite right next to the kayak landing spot. That is insane. That is insane. Man. Hey, do not mess with the grizzly bear. As bad as Ingram is, are you grabbing any round 20 Jolly? I assume I have clicked him a couple times. So I kind of liked Jolly as a prospect. But it's also, I tell you something, and maybe this is something that like Liam and the non-college football watchers or non-college football enjoyers might have on me. But because I play a lot of college football fantasy and I like know these guys' profiles like pretty well, and I like watched a lot of Jolly. Jolly was like very productive when the team counted on him, but his overall like cumulative prospect profile doesn't look that good. It doesn't look horrible. I tell you what though, Jolly, just like his playing style, he really reminds me of Harold Fannin. He really reminds me of Harold Fannin. So that is hard for me. I wouldn't be surprised if Jolly ends up being a guy that we pick up on waivers in FFPC main event. Like he to me is like the ultimate like week. I don't know. Like he's like the ultimate like week 6 FFPC guy. Lemon is a faller on DraftKings. I haven't noticed him falling as much on Underdog, but I have noticed him being a big faller on DraftKings. I mean, where did I get Lemon in this one? 85. You can draft 60% worthy like me and still win money somehow, being a luck box. Exposures be damned. I mean, hey, the thing that no one wants to admit about best ball, like truly no one wants to admit it, it only takes one. It only takes one. You got one real good team, doesn't matter. Does KJ Duff get drafted in college football best ball drafts? I don't know, Greg. I was about to start I was about to start working on college football best ball. And then EPL best ball just launched. So probably not going to do that. Probably gonna be spending my time getting my EPL best ball stuff set to go. GM to my guy, Sustainable Construction EC. Shout out to all the fathers out there fighting the good fight. Hey, shout out to all the mothers out there fighting the good fight as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. Being a dad, there's a lot that goes into it, but when the kids are young, moms work real hard. Have I done any drafters yet? Nope. But I just had a call with Zach, who is the owner of Drafters, last week, and we are going to be hammering something out. So there's very likely going to be some Drafters fantasy football content on this channel at some point relatively soon. All right. We are back up. We are actually not going to take Travis Hunter. We're going to take Kenyon Sadiq. And because I already have 2 Jacksonville receivers. You know what? I'll buy a Toporino here. I will draft an Alvin Kamara. I've got no Alvin Kamara. He's definitely better in full PPR than in half PPR. Sure. I'll buy a little bit of Kamara Toporino. Yes. Yeah, there is Eliminator coming to drafters. I'm starting to warm up on LaPorta. That line schedule is looking mighty juicy. Yeah, I like that. LaPorta, after year 1, man, he got really nicked by those injuries. But if we look at the age 22 stuff for LaPorta, his comps are really, really good. Actually, I guess the thing with tight ends is that the comps can't ever really be that good because there are so many guys who actively bust. But 14 PPR points as a rookie. Let's check his age 23 comps. Yeah, then you get a better skill set because there just aren't that many age 22 tight ends. You got Ingram in there. You got Hernandez in there. Tyler Warren in there. Will Dissly. I do not remember Will Dissly scoring 12.2 points per game. When was that? Does anyone else remember the 2019 Will Dissly season? What on earth? Dude, I have no memory of this. Literally no memory of tight end 3, tight end 5, tight end 2, tight end 5. What on earth is that? Tell me, do you guys have any recollection of this? What on earth? That just goes to show you, dude, anyone at tight end can do it with touchdowns. Wasn't ETN fairly inefficient? Maybe this will be the Kamara rug pull. No, I mean, I think ETN is a pretty good NFL running back. I've blacked out since COVID. Yeah, I do. I have a vague memory of him running hot, but I did not remember that. Wow. My guy, Zach Romansky, that's a guy who watched the video over on Matic Fantasy Football. Let me tell you, if he's coming in here to talk about Luther Burden, that's a guy who watched the Luther Burden video over on Matic Fantasy Football. The best wide receiver pick in fantasy football. Lift off. I was pretty proud of that thumbnail, actually. I thought that one was pretty good. I spent a half decade thinking Luke Wilson could do that Dissly season and it never happened. I definitely probably still have Luke Wilson sitting on the bottom of a dynasty roster somewhere. I was watching highlights the other day and I saw the Jeff Janis bomb touchdown from Aaron Rodgers. Oh, maybe probably my second favorite play in NFL history. There's one answer to my favorite play in NFL history. And I bet you guys know me well enough to guess it. But there's definitely one play that is my favorite play of all time. Is there anything more bullish than a coach saying he's buying a slappy player stock? Literally nothing more bullish. Yes, the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone are amazing, Brock. They really are. I would say in terms of family vacations, it's really cool because it gets you up and gets you up and moving. I mean, a lot of family vacations, it's a lot of sitting It's a lot of like waiting in lines and things. Burden is going to be the biggest rug pull for a huge Adunze season. This is a great guess. The scramble at the end of the first half against the Titans in the AFC Championship. So that's definitely like top 10 Basshead in terms of my favorite NFL plays of all time. It's really, really high up there, but not my favorite. It is obviously it's a Chiefs play though. I mean, it is a Chiefs play. I'll give you guys a hint. It is a Chiefs Super Bowl play. My favorite play of all time. Do I do Geno here? Liam would not take Geno here for sure. Liam would skip the Geno play. I'm gonna do Geno, and then I'm gonna take Jerry Jeudy, even though we do already have Concepcion. The worthy end around, my favorite regular season play, but Miles got it right there. The Mecole Hardman game winner, where he didn't know he won the game. Easily my favorite play of all time. That's first off, shout out to my boys, shout out to Miles, and shout out to Purple Yosh. The worthy, so I'll say this, the worthy play was probably the happiest I've ever been watching the NFL play, because you could also tell he was going to score when he got the ball. Like you could tell when Worthy got the ball on that play that he was going to score. Very cool play. But Hardman game winner in overtime, not realizing that he won the game. Hardman not realizing that he won the game. So funny. Like just everything about it. And the Jet Chip Wasp in the 2019 Super Bowl, also phenomenal. The insane diving throw that didn't, buddy, the insane diving throw that Darrell Williams dropped. Well, so the he didn't know the play one, Professor, you're switching up plays. The one where he didn't know the play is not Mecole Hardman. It's Kadarius Toney scoring a Super Bowl touchdown where he didn't know the play. He lined up on the wrong side of the field. They ran the same play twice. Sky Moore scored one, and then Toney scored one. The 13-second comeback against the Bills, you know, it's kind of funny. The 13-second against the Bills was like obviously unbelievable. I think probably the craziest experience in the whole run of the Chiefs was the Chad Henne 14-yard scramble and then the 4th down conversion to Tyreek Hill. That's one that people forget. The Chad Henne basically single-handedly keeping the Chiefs dynasty alive when Mahomes, I don't remember if that was a concussion check or if it was his ankle, but either way, he didn't get to play that last drive. And then Chad Henne led a 99-yard scoring drive in that game as well. Yes. Yeah. The Andy Reid 4th down call where if I remember correctly, it was just like one of those quick little like screen plays to Tyreek. Unbelievable. No, I'm Jake. No, I'm Jake. Oh, no. Very on brand to love the plays where guys know situational game awareness, but run super, super fast. That's what it's all about. I've run all my quantitatives, and I believe you should take more Malik Nabers. All right. I'm locked in, my quant. I hope I pull a Mecole Hardman and log into my account in January not knowing I won a best ball contest. You know, that's what Reeves does. Reeves, Rich Rebar does not check his best ball stuff. I believe a couple years ago, I want to say 2 years ago, Reeves had a team in the finals and he didn't know, which is quite funny. Yeah, Reeves lives a very mentally free life. GM, Mr. Skeletor. All right. What do we have cooking here? A 3-5-6-2. I was going to say, I guarantee Terrence Ferguson is already gone. Yeah. Do I do Stowers? Nah, we'll do, you know what? Let's do Justin Jolly. Justin Jolly. That one's for my guy, Michael. And then we'll take, I'll take Jeremy. There you go. A Justin Jolly. I think that's the first time I've clicked Jolly on DraftKings. Is the fast puppy full? I assume so. I don't know though. Wow, didn't look at my best ball stuff until the playoffs last year. Incredible. I might make it to the end of week 2. I won't make it to the end of the first game without looking. 17th round Jolly. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Goods. I thought this was the end. I thought this was the end of the draft. I might take Stowers when it comes around. My tight ends are Chig, Sadiq, and Jolly. I will probably do a little Stowers in there. No UD this week. We are fully we're fully DraftKings pilled on the channel this week. Stowers feels so forgotten about. Goddard is inevitably going to get hurt. You know, that's pretty interesting because I tend to agree with you in the sense that, I mean, how many, this is actually a good thing for us to run. How many second round pass catchers just do not play? Do I remember the insane thing that happened after the Jeff Janis touchdown? I don't, but I do remember just finding it very strange the Packers won that game, or the Packers lost that game, because normally when you get like an insane run good thing like that to happen, you just carry the momentum and win the game. All right, we are going to run a Stathead search from 2020 to 2025 for wide receivers and tight ends. We're going to do biographical filter, year of player's career, first year, draft status, drafted in round 2. And I just want to see how many of these guys have just not played at all. Because it can't be that many. All right. How am I going to close this one out? I do think I'm going to take another tight end. It's probably not, I guess it's not going to be Stowers because he went. I could take Ingram. I could take both of them. I could take Mayer. My old friend Taysom Hill is still there. Is Taysom Hill going to play this year? The Packers called heads for the coin toss. The ref flips the coins. It lands heads, but then said coin didn't flip, reflips it, and comes tails. And Larry Fitz scored a 60-yard touchdown first drive. That, I memory wiped that entirely, Harbs. Completely memory wiped that. All right, so this is all players, the last 5 years, wide receiver, tight end, player drafted round 2. Wow, Ben Sinnott, Brenton Strange, so a lot of the guys who didn't play were tight ends. They were all older, though. Sinnott wasn't, I guess. Eskridge, Mechie, Polk, Terrace Marshall. Okay, all right, well, fair. Okay, all right, I guess a fair amount of these guys actually did not play. So joke's on me. My analysis was actually wrong. Darnell Washington, little Darnell Washington hive. Nate Borkacher. I could take Mason Taylor. No, we're gonna do Darnell Washington, and then we're gonna take another wide receiver, and we are gonna take Keenan Allen. Bang. All right, so how many of these guys here? Let's change it to just tight ends because now I'm curious. So these are all the second round tight ends of the last 5 years. LaPorta, Freiermuth, Mason Taylor, Musgrave, Mayer, Komet, McBride, T. Ferg, Arroyo. I mean, it's definitely not the best. It's definitely not the best cohort to be in. Man, 14 PPR points per game for LaPorta, though. All right, how'd we do? Genty, Barkley, Bryce, Jaylen Waddle's wide receiver 1, Henderson running back 4, P-Wash and Lawrence, Makai Lemon, Nixon Waddle, Jacoby Myers with Lawrence, KC Concepcion at 132, Chig and Sadiq, Kamara's running back 5, Gino with Sadiq, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Jolly, Burmy Gernard at 205, Darnell Washington, and Keenan Allen. If Jordan James is the locked in running back 2 for San Francisco, given upside, high CMC injury risk plus the Shannon roll, where do you rank him? I would rank him a lot higher. I would probably rank him like right ahead of like Sean Tucker. Definitely ahead of Emmett Johnson. Have I shared my thoughts? Did you watch the Liam Soulcast sub appearance for you? The last 5 minutes or so was a Liam masterclass. I have not watched it. I probably won't. Very time poor these days, guys. I wish I was not as time poor, but that's the way she goes. All right, let's go do another one. Go hop into the lobby. NFL Best Ball Millie Maker. I'm about at 100 draft of these. A lot of them are slows. I'll probably be at 100 done by Sunday, because my plan is to stream tomorrow and my plan is to stream Sunday as well. But let's hop in and do this. Reminder for any of you guys who are not signed up yet, you can head on over to flockfantasy.com, get my rankings, get the best ball tool, get dynasty rankings. I actually just did a big dynasty rankings update on Flock Fantasy today, but would encourage all of you guys to head on over there to flockfantasy.com. And if you sign up using my code, you can go over to this advice tab and you can have your best ball portfolio analyzed. We're gonna do some streams here on the channel where we run through your guys's best ball portfolio. So pretty cool stuff there. All right, drafting out of the 1.8 with Lowman, Kickalicious, Dave, P. Joner, Tia, Talk Slot, Gambit, Sethi, Ryan Reese, World Series of Poker main event champion Ryan Reese, Badger fan 6318, Ryan K277, and the Spungos. I don't know if you're in here, Spungos, but man, is that a very good DraftKings avatar. How do I manage all of my fantasy leagues during the season? Well, it's pretty easy when you have the My Teams tab on Flock Fantasy. So you're just gonna have all the stuff you need. You can look at every team. You can look at all the available free agents. You can see whenever the available free agents are better than the guys on your roster. It's gonna help you set waivers. It's gonna help you manage all your teams. Very easy if you sign up over on blockfantasy.com. Any idea when the week 1 contest drop on DraftKings feels late this year? I feel like they normally wait for the preseason, but I could be wrong about that. I am looking Jonathan Taylor in the face. I might take Lamb. Streets are saying next week for DraftKings contest. All right, well, hey, shout out to our friends over on DraftKings. All right, 1.8. I mean, maybe we get lucky. Maybe we randomly get a McCaffrey fall. Hey, streets are wild over on DraftKings. Anything can happen over on DK. But I mean, I'm a little bit light on Jonathan Taylor. So I guess if all the players to be light on in the first round, Jonathan Taylor, pretty terrifying given how good he was last year. Oh, shout out to Jacob Sanderson. I'm wearing the hat again. I'm wearing the Quebec hat. Oh man, is Chris Diaz here? Chris, if you're here, I got something. I got to show you this jersey I'm wearing. It's part of the DH Gate jerseys I got, but you will be an appreciator of this one. Well, I mean, I would definitely take St. Brown here at pick 8. I'm not going to get him though. Yeah. All right, whatever. JT. I mean, how bad of a pick can JT be? Doesn't feel like that good of a pick, but it's probably fine. I mean, being underweight on anyone in the first round is basically terrifying. And I am obviously just very terrified of being underweight on any running back who can just easily score 30 points in a game. I mean, the Jonathan Taylor advance rate stuff last year was so insane. But also being underweight on Justin Jefferson, that is a fate I cannot imagine. Like, remember what Justin Jefferson used to be like? 18 points per game, 20 points per game, 21 points per game, 19 points per game, 17 points per game. That 11.8 points per game is so insane. JT is somehow my most drafted player overall. I'm an exposure robot. Hey, I mean, you could easily ship though. That's how it goes. Get you some Eric All. I'm probably good. I'm probably good on Eric All. I'm gonna be 3x the field. I mean, hey, Harbs. That is, if I was not a coward, I would also try and be 3x the field on Justin Jefferson. But I sadly am a bit of a coward. I tend to agree that James Cook is probably the easiest round one fade. That's probably the direction that I would be heading in as well. Do we do? I mean, Hampton's slight faller if we get him. Let's see what World Series of Poker main event champion Ryan Reese does. I love the poker guys who have the poker photo. Yeah, let's take Hampton. I love the guys who have the poker photo as their profile picture. True. Classic. It is. It's a classic flop leg spot. It is. Yes, Cook does play the Dolphins week 17, which is a massive, massive advantage, obviously. Yeah, no doubt about that. The Dolphins are going to give up some historical fantasy football games this season, especially if the offense is playing kind of fast. That'll make it just very, very funny. Like if the Dolphins play fast on offense and they're just going 3 and out, there's going to be some preposterous scores against them. I drafted a bunch of neighbors at the 2-3 turn in May. There you go, brother. Let's see. Again, I'm going to try and pull up my best ball page, but I seriously have so many teams. It's so funny. When the devs were imagining what a best ball portfolio tool was, they were not imagining someone having 1,300 fantasy football teams drafted by July. But I think they actually, I think last night they did a new fix for the best ball part of the stuff over on Flock. Ray Davis and Ty Johnson play the Dolphins week 17. That's a good bit. Should we draft more Ray Davis? I mean, it is a really good spot. If they get Cook more involved in the passing game, like they're saying, he still has some ceiling. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's like some terrible pick or anything, but if you were going to highlight one of the guys who is probably being overdrafted in round 1, I think you'd certainly have to say that it's Barkley. By the way, this guy at the 12 hole here did get Lamb and Genty. So never let anyone tell you. Never let anyone, don't let your dreams be dreams. This guy just drafted CeeDee Lamb and Ashton Genty. He's living his truth out there. All right, we are up here, and I'm going to select. I actually am going to take Nabers here. I moved him up to 27, so I'm assuming Sethy does not select Malik Nabers. I'm in. These round 3 dude, if Nabers is healthy, shit. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take Igbuka. These round 3 St. Brown Bowers Nabers is an absurd start. That is a crazy start in fantasy football. James Cook, Chase Brown, Josh. Wow, Ryan Reese. What does this mean? If Nabers has 1 ACL, why is he not on the PUP list then? Sad case of non-ball knowing there. Barkley, AJ Brown, Breece Hall. I have a tough time with Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall is very good, but you just look at the overall surroundings of the Jets. Although I guess, like, honestly, his game logs, like his FPPG ended up being kind of fine last year, which is sort of funny given how bad the Jets were. All right. We are, Loveland is nice here. Waddle's nice here. What are we thinking? You know what? Let's do a Loveland. I gotta balance out. I gotta balance out those big old burden bags. But I mean, yeah, I guess he really wasn't that bad. 3 different wide receiver or running back 1 weeks. In the course of his career, like, he has been pretty freaking good, man, Breece Hall. He is definitely a good player. I have a tough time with Barkley. ETR loves him. Reeves loves him. I think your perspective on Barkley is how bad was his poor performance last year all the offensive line? Was it all Kevin Patullo? Or can he re-find the explosiveness? Our quantitative has Ty Johnson, running back 52, Ray Davis, running back 72. Yeah, I mean, Ray Davis is only going to be useful if James Cook gets injured. Is there some sort of deadline for the pup list? Nabers can still be placed on it, but I think is not going to, right? That's the way I read the situation, because if you're placed on the training camp pup list next week, then you can't come off it until the end of training camp, I believe is the way that works. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to try and get Caleb Williams at 65. This is probably going to be a Tuten pick. Love me some Bhayshul Tuten. LeBron is a 76er and will still get beat in the second round. LeBron signing a 2-year, $8 million deal, to me, was the craziest part of all of that. Isn't that completely insane for LeBron to sign a 2-year deal for $8 million? He really did. He said, you know what? I'm going to try and win a championship. 4th round Nabers was fun. Have a Jefferson, Bowers, Breece, Nabers start. Incredible. Hey, ball knower here. Tuten is going to go off this season. Love being able to get him so late. I completely agree. I assume he did not sign with the Lakers because he doesn't think the Lakers are as good. I mean, I would say this version of the team is better. All right, Tuten already went. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to set up the Bear stuff. I'm going to take Rome, and then I'm going to take Caleb coming around. Shouldn't Tet be closer to Zay and Igbuka? What am I missing? I think you are missing that his quarterback has not had more than 210 passing yards in a game since college. Yards per game, 188, 171, 179. Bryce Young last year had 303 against Arizona and 448-3 against Atlanta, and then he topped 200 yards 4 times, including 2 absolute explosions. In 2024, he topped 300 yards no times. And in 2023, he topped 300 yards once. I think the issue is that he just is not very good. Bryce Young broke the Panthers record for single yards in a game. Shout out. Regress in what direction? I don't know. I'm not a Bryce Young believer. If you had to put me in a camp, I would say I am not a Bryce Young believer. He's fine, whatever. Like, do whatever you want, but is there any chance I push Caleb around? Who does the Burden drafter have a QB? The Burden drafter does not have a quarterback, so no chance. All right, we're going to take Caleb Williams. I was like, I don't know, man. If the Burden drafter somehow had like Lamar or something, I maybe would have tried it, but not going to happen. Isn't Kyler the same as Bryce these days? Oh, buddy. I'm begging you to learn some football, man. We'll go 2020 to 2025 EPA per play. EPA per play for Kyler Murray. Oh, I got to update. All right. Murray, EPA per play, 0.106. Bryce Young, negative 0.062. So Kyler Murray, based on what they have done in the National Football League, Kyler Murray has been 3 times better than Bryce Young, just based off of what they've done on the field. So, I don't know. Bryce just isn't very good. Kyler is quite good. Kyler's like, I don't know, the 11th or 12th best quarterback in football or whatever. Bryce would be what? What is Bryce? Like the 24th, 23rd best quarterback in football? Like if you were just ranking them in terms of trying to win this season, how would you rank them? Mahomes 1, Allen 2, Lamar 3, May 4, probably Hurts 5, Burrow 6, Herbert 7, something like that. After that, it all doesn't matter. They all kind of suck. But yeah, I mean, Bryce not a particularly good player. Well, whatever, you know. I mean, he's kind of fun. He runs around. He had that. Bryce Young had the no look touchdown pass. Was that against the Saints? That was a cool play. That was a cool play for Bryce. All right, we have a 1-2-2-1. So probably taking a wide receiver here. I will not be taking Herbert here. These wide receivers stink. This is like the worst range on DraftKings if you need a wide receiver, because I'm not really that into Godwin. I'm not into Pierce. Not into any of these guys, honestly. This range, I mean, I guess Godwin just positionally, but it doesn't even feel that good. You're right. It was against the Falcons. All right. Godwin. Nope. Can't even take Godwin. Can't even take. All right. We're going to do RJ Harvey. I'm pretty Harvey pilled these days. Herbert and Lawrence are interchangeable. I think Herbert's probably a little bit better than Lawrence. It's hard to say with Caleb because a lot of the Caleb stuff is based on projection. Like Caleb fixed the sack issues last year, but now Caleb's got to fix the short area completion stuff. Way better is not accurate. I mean, Justin Herbert is 29 and never won a playoff game. So hard to say that a 29-year-old who's never won a playoff game is way better than another guy who actually Trevor Lawrence beat Justin Herbert head-to-head in a postseason game. What side of the great Brock Purdy wars are you on? I mean, I'm a big Purdy guy. Purdy earned every bit of his contract extension. All right, we're going Jaden Reed. I consider me a pro Brock Purdy guy. Actually, yeah, give me. All right, here's your hot take. Give me Purdy over Lawrence. Give me Purdy over Lawrence and Herbert. I would take Baker or Love for a must-win game over Kyler. Baker, sure. Love, I would say no. Love is like a real high-end EPA guy. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I could say Love is better or equivalent to Kyler. Are we talking fantasy or real life? Because real life Herbert is much better. I was talking like real quarterback value. I don't know. Herbert makes a ton of mistakes that people don't want to admit. No one ever wants to admit that Herbert does some real dumb shit. Stafford is definitely top 10 for like one game, one season for sure. To me, Mahomes is a value in round 8. You will definitely hear other opinions on that. A lot of people have opinions on if Mahomes is a value based on the rushing that he did last year, but I think getting the greatest quarterback of all time in round 8 in fantasy football is probably a pretty good idea. See, I feel like Purdy is a good stack this year because for the first time ever, you can backstack him. Generally, the issue is that Purdy has always, like, 49ers guys have always been expensive. Kittle and the wide receivers and McCaffrey always went ahead of him, but now you can take Kittle after. You can take Stribling after. You could even take Debo. There's been rumors that he's coming back. I'll never forgive Herbert and the Chargers for losing that playoff game to the Jaguars. Yes. Well, I will forgive them because I thought it was very funny at the time. All right. What do we do here? Quarterback is probably running out. Actually, no, I can wait because I've got Igbuka, and I actually wouldn't mind Malik Willis on this team. So probably another wide receiver right here. Brooks, and these wide receivers stink, actually. Probably, like, honestly, like, your last chance to get Jonathan Brooks in the double digits is literally probably happening this week. Well, all right, never mind. Wide receiver. Let's do Worthy. Why not? A little Xavier Worthy as a treat. Yeah, if another hypothetical win for Justin Herbert. Christian Kirk is free, and I know Shanny's going to like him. I wonder, what do we think Mike Quantitative has that projected at? That's kind of interesting. What do we think the 49ers projections are? My Quantitative has Christian Kirk for 23 receptions, 318 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he's cutting the Kirk Stribling stuff in half. Wan'Dale is undervalued. I mean, I think Wan'Dale is a very good player, but the Carnell Tate stuff, actually, honestly, the bigger wrinkle probably for Wan'Dale is, what does Calvin Ridley's health look like? Like, is Calvin Ridley a full-time player? Is Calvin Ridley on his Dez Bryant in a Ravens jersey arc? Like, I don't think we know. But if Ridley is healthy and Tate is the equivalent value of the number 4 overall pick, then Wan'Dale is going to get like 42 catches. All right. We have a 1-3-4-1, and we can take the man of the hour, Jordan Love. So Caleb Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Amarian Hampton, Emeka Igbuka, Rome Odunze, Jaden Reed, Colston Loveland, RJ Harvey, Xavier Worthy, and one Mr. Jordan Love. Wan'Dale is the K. Dotton of Christian Kirk. So that is, what a beautiful quote. Mayfield seems underrated given the ADPs of the TB skill guys. If those guys are properly drafted, he is going too low. And Baker Mayfield was beat up last year. There's a lot of this stuff is from the quarterback documentary. Look at this bruise that Baker Mayfield had on his arm after week 3. Look how black and blue this dude's arm is. I don't know why that showed up in such horrible resolution, but Baker got absolutely smoked last year and also hurt his labrum again at some point. I don't think that it would be. I don't think it would be certain that Wan'Dale would out-target Ridley. Why is everyone so stoked about these rookies with horrible quarterbacks offenses? It's easy to be optimistic in July, Daniel. That's really the reason. It's very easy to view every offense, view every situation in the greatest possible terms. Ridley isn't washed, by the way. I would bet he probably isn't. Does your strategy change in full PPR with 2 flex spots instead of 1? Yeah. Two flex spots instead of 1 is pretty good. I would be in any format where you have extra flexes, wide receivers become more valuable because there are just more wide receivers who generate points more consistently. So like your thoughts between, like, I don't know, someone like Rico Dowdle or Jaden Reed change a little bit. I moved Nabers up to 27 in my best ball rankings. 27 is where I have Nabers now. Ridley is 32, coming off yet another bad injury. He's not a shiny new toy anymore. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Ridley's that good. My quantitative has Calvin Ridley for 46, 722, and 4. I mean, that would be a very, very good pick where Calvin Ridley goes in best ball drafts. No one in that range is even close to that. All right, a 2, 3, 4, 1 with Loveland as our 1. Oh, JCM is a freaking smash here. Yep. I shouldn't have even said it. Tracy, C-Rod, Chig. Man, this is an annoying spot. Let's take Jaden Higgins. That gives us another quarterback and gives us the Wisconsin Dells bring back. Don't running backs go? The thing is that the tie break in the flex, in one flex, is going to go towards running backs a lot, but you are adding more overall starting players, and there are more, like, there are 60 wide receivers with a reasonable projection versus, 34 running backs with a reasonable projection or whatever. Big question for Ridley, is Carnell Tate the X, Wan'Dale in the slot? If Tate is the Z, then Ridley is dust. I mean, I don't think Calvin Ridley is that good, but at the cost right now, it basically does not matter. Yeah, I think I will probably draft one more. Ridley is free compared to last year's 5th round price. Yes. I mean, he freaking broke his leg last year. Only so much you can do for a man who is literally breaking his leg. All right. Let's see. Probably a running back here. Wow. Oh, man. Twist my arm. One Mr. Keaton. Whoa, we got Hampton and Missile. Damn, I actually didn't realize that. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Hampton and Missile together. I wonder. My Quant. I bet my Quant has Keaton Mitchell for like 17 points. Yeah. 62 rushes, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 targets, 12 receptions. What if I just got this year's A-Chain and Mostert, though? What if Gretsch actually had a great article on Keaton Mitchell on thinking on stealing signals, if you want to read it. Gretsch did a half-hour Ridley diatribe on Neil's pod. I didn't listen, but I'm happy. Can you summarize the diatribe? Have a Hampton and Mitchell team only because Mitchell fell about 30 spots. Yeah, well, I took him ahead of ADP there. Yes, the quant. Let me tell you, my quantitative, Mike Clay, love my quant. He will never ever get a guy like Keaton Mitchell, right? Has Keaton Mitchell ever been healthy? Yeah, every year of his career but one, brother. Starting to think Best Ball Boy doesn't watch or follow football. Maybe he thinks he's English. Wait, hold on. I've got it. This is what Best Ball Boy, he's English and he thinks by football we mean soccer. I've figured it out. I figured out. He's watching a stream of the wrong sport. We'll get you back to where you're going, buddy. You don't have to be confused. Is Quant a person? I'm so confused. Yes. Are you familiar with this GIF? Have you seen the movie The Big Short? That's my Quant. That's my quantitative. Part of the Gretsch reasoning is the rookie will be more deep, sacrificial X stuff like Brian Thomas, so not huge target competition. And Ridley did have a 130-yard game last year. He did. It's true. I'd actually honestly forgotten that. But he also broke his leg. So breaking your leg changes the calculus, I think, a good bit. This is probably a good team for Travis Hunter because we just need to embrace the volatility. Juwan Jennings is also a pretty good pick. But yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna take my guy T Hunter for a 2-4-6-1. Jacobs or Love? Jeremiah Love by a lot, I think. Summarizing Gretsch's 12-minute filibuster on Ridley is like reading the cliff notes of the Odyssey. Man, I am never gonna be able to see the Odyssey. I can't get out of my house for a 4-hour movie. I'm gonna have to, and it's also sold out here. I tried to find seats. Every showing at a reasonable time in St. Louis, Missouri has been sold out. Do I prefer 2 quarterback or 3 quarterback builds? I prefer 3 by quite a bit. I know I got to see it, dude. I know. Like literally, like I'm trying to plan my weekend around going. Okay. My guy, I've been waiting for you to show up. So this is the 2026 World Cup Japanese jersey. 1 second. I gotta go. I think I gotta take a tight end here. Sadiq. You know what? No, I'm gonna take Kamara. Just a little safe. But this is the Kubo movie. Or the Kubo jersey. Number 10. So good. Yeah, it is a divisive movie because people think the Odyssey is woke. They think it's woke, which is very funny. It's just very funny to think of the Odyssey being woke. I mean, of all stories to be woke. I mean, the concept of woke existing in ancient Greece is so funny. Also very funny that the gal Emily Wilson, which supposedly Christopher Nolan based his interpretation of the Odyssey off of. Very funny. This gal, Emily Wilson, she said it sucked. She was like, oh, I did not like it. I did not like Christopher Nolan's interpretation. So it's just very funny. Speaking of the World Cup, how'd you like the Spain domination? It was I ended up betting on Spain, but man, that final sucked. When you were on with Liam and he goes, but what if player X goes for 25 in week 17? Yeah, you can actually say that for any player. What if they go for 25 in the right week? All right, so you think Matt Damon shouldn't have been cast? I don't. What do you want, brother? I'm sure. Like, I just think I think all of the anti-Odyssey takes are terrible. I think they're awful. I think none of you know shit about anything. I don't think any of you are smart at all, honestly. What round do you think Hunter would be in if he only played wide receiver? Like a 5th round pick, probably. I mean, he was a 5th round pick last year. But yeah, if they said he is only playing, they say he's only playing wide receiver, I think he goes ahead of Parker Washington. Would be my guess. Jaden Blue, kind of fun. I need a tight end. Is this just where you have to take Terrence Ferguson now? I think this is where I'm gonna take. I'm just gonna do it. I'm doing it. T Ferg. You can't stop me, brother. I got Loveland. I'm fine. I'm taking T Ferg there. Spain are boring to watch, but have you ever played? Yeah, I mean, I imagine Argentina against Spain. They were just like, oh, kill me. I'm sure every one of those dudes had the worst. Yeah, what do you guys think? Christian Watson versus 100% wide receiver Travis Hunter. So you got Christian Watson, or you have like the Liam Cohen comes out and says, "Hey, we talked about it as a team. Travis says he doesn't want to play defense anymore. Let's get it done. Let's set it up." Travis Hunter is our starting. What I guess he'd be like your Y wide receiver would be his best position. I'd be it's a pretty good conversation. All right. Let's do I mean, do we take another tight end here? Because tight end to me, after Freiermuth, it goes to guys where you're just like, hey man, I see no path to them really jamming there. Third quarterback. I mean, I guess I could try. This is maybe an okay team to take Shadur. Is Judy still there? Judy is gone. You know what? After all this talk, I mean, I feel like we got to take Calvin Ridley. Right? I mean, we spent like 15 minutes talking about Calvin Ridley. Yeah, let's do it. Calvin Ridley. Bang. Got her done. All right, we've got what? 4 more picks. Okay. If a player was to score 25 points in week 17 but scores 0 points every other week, where do you draft him? I mean, we definitely talked about this on the channel last year, but it was the experiment was if a guy scored 50 points in week 17 but 0 points every other time, where do you take him? 25 points is a little different. 25 points feels like what? Like a round 5 pick? If a player was going to score 25 points in week 17 but scores 0 points every other week, where do you draft him? Feels like, yeah, you take him in the McLaurin, McMillan, Montgomery range. Also, position probably matters a little bit there. I think 50 points is 101. Oh, you know what? I actually texted. That's thank you for reminding me, Slanted, because I actually texted Mr. Rotopat Doherty last week. And or actually no, it was before I went on vacation. I was like, "Hey man, I want to get you on the channel." So yes, thank you for reminding me. Honestly, Bradley, I do. I legitimately, in my heart of hearts, believe that Waddle is a smash. Truth serum, whatever you want to call it. I do legitimately think that Jaylen Waddle is a smash in fantasy football. I think Jaylen Waddle can finish the season pretty easily as a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football. I honestly believe it. 50 points. I don't think there is a 101. There's some amount of give there. Like last year, Kelsey was a first round pick. There was only 2 teams in the finals. Yeah, but you're basically guaranteed to win. If you get 50 points from a player, you're basically guaranteed to win. I don't know. We should ask Shady. Dang. All right. I got owned at tight end. All right. I'm gonna take Shadur. I feel like I do need a third quarterback there. Man, owned at tight end. There you go. Purple Yosh. Highest drafted wide receiver is Jaylen Waddle. The deal with Shaheed is I loved Shaheed on New Orleans because I thought it was so clear how he could earn more volume. It's not that clear. Oh, here you go. All right. I was saying just ask Shady. I would put a decent amount of money, having done no actual math, on 25. It would be 10 plus or later. Makes more sense at 25 because there are going to be plenty of players that score 25 points in a given week. So it's not an auto win. I do think Shady, if you want to think about it, what about 0 points for 16 weeks and 50 points in week 17? Because that's more interesting. There will be plenty of players in a given week who score 25 points. All right. Wide receiver. Let's take Surratt. Surratt, I like. 3-5-8-2. Still 2 more picks to make here. 50 points is definitely the 101. 25 points with only zeros. Think later, maybe round 8. What if there was a player? What if there was a player that works as a boost, effectively a 0, but gives the rest of your players a 10-point increase? I mean, that also is probably your first round. 10% increase is also probably a first round. I mean, that's beyond my ability to. That's beyond my ability to think, but I would assume a 10-point increase is a lot. If you got 10% more points on your roster every single week, you're advancing so many teams. Depends on if they are undrafted and only you have them or everyone drafts them at that ADP-ish. I assume for this thought experiment, that's actually such a good point. I had not thought through it that way. Obviously, shady astrophysicist, much smarter than me about mathematics. Yeah, 10% would be the 101. That was my fault. Not NFL, but a good age thing to be in front of. Ryan Coleman Williams, Malachi Tony, and Chris Henry Jr. are all within 8 months of each other in age. Tony is younger than Malachi Tony is also the perfect. If you were going to come up with a wide receiver name in a lab, it would be Malachi Tony. If that 50-point player exists, I probably just stop playing best ball and go back to more productive activities. But brother, don't I know it? Yeah, okay. Oh, so if it's only you know it, Shady. So only you have access to this 50-point guy. If there is a 100% drafted player, what is the GTO ADP if they score 15 in week 17 and 0? So I guess both ways. What about the hypothetical drafting of the same teams as every other slappy and losing all my teams in week 15? I think it's harder than you think to draft the exact same team. As someone whose Jacquard tree was like legitimately 0 in 2024, it's harder than you think to draft the exact same team. All right, how many likes do we have on this video? We're gonna check, because I could maybe be convinced to do one more draft. We've got 7. All right, if we get to 100, I'll do one more. And if we don't, I'm going to go back to working on my EPL best ball rankings, which I guess, you know what? I'll say this. I'll post my EPL best ball rankings in the Discord for anyone who's interested. Tight end. We'll do Eli Stowers. All right. If you guys get to 100 likes, I'll do one more. And if you don't get to 100 likes, I'm done. I'm out. And you guys are on your own for the rest of the afternoon. By the way, this is classic Soccer Dave. I went live early because I knew that Soccer Dave wasn't going to be here to do the Swoolies Only show. And the only reason I knew that Dave wasn't going to be here would be because he posted a picture this morning of getting smoothies with his boss, JJ Zacharyson. I mean, this is what it's like. This is what it's like to work with David. But the only reason I knew we weren't doing Swoolies Only today is because JJ and Dave went to get smoothies together this morning. All right. Probably one more wide receiver on this team. Actually, honestly, this might be a team to do a running back. Claiborne, Kalen Black. Yeah, because I took the 2 Chargers running backs and Kamara. We're going to do another running back, and we're going to take DJ Giddens. Oh, who's also a handcuff to Jonathan. Dude, all right, poorly executed, F- grade there. If only you know, why would you not take them last round? But aside from the Plotto, my gut is 50. You'd break even late in the 5th or 7th, maybe depending on position and seasonable ADPs. I guess the reason why my gut is a little different, Shady, is just because your EV in week 17 is going to be so insane. But that's just my thought. You know, I don't know, and you don't want to be doing the mathematics with me. That much is for sure. It all gets multiplied by your probability to advance. Yeah, all this is assuming maxing for EV, sure. All right, how many likes? How many likes did you Jamokes get? There's got to be a way for me to check the likes without actually going to the video. There's got to be a way in YouTube Studio. 88. All right, you're pretty close. I'm not doing it unless we get to 100 though. All right, I was not paying close enough attention to this team, but started out Jonathan Taylor and Hampton, Igbuka at 32, Loveland at 41, Adunze and Caleb Williams, so 3 little bears. Loveland, Adunze, Caleb Williams, RJ Harvey at 80, Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, Love and Reid, Jaden Higgins, bring back, Wisconsin Dells, Keaton Mitchell, Travis Hunter, Alvin Kamara, Terrence Ferguson, Calvin Ridley, Shadur Sanders, Elijah Surratt, Eli Stowers, and DJ Giddens. A guaranteed 0 is so hard to come back from, but since it's a known a priori, you can build around it in a way that we don't in real basketball. That's also very true. Yeah, Giddens for Taylor, Keaton with Hampton. What if? My respect for Shady went up about 50x once I heard his username was Wheel of Time Inspired. Honestly, I was going to say the story is just that Jonathan Taylor misses 1 week with a concussion check, and DJ Giddens smashes in that week, and then Jonathan Taylor comes back. All right, we are at how many likes? We are at 97. 3 more, and I'll do it. But I'm actually normally I give you guys a break, but I'm actually not giving you guys a break today. No break. We got to get to 100. What else? What else is in the lobby right now? Did they release a new $10? They did. They did. All right. I need to make sure to enter that. I got a $9, $15 single entry. 3 Little Bears is a good name for a redraft team. We're about there. We are about to team name season. Incredible things are happening. All right, you guys got to 107. We'll do one more. We'll do one more $25 Millie Maker draft on DraftKings.com. Yes, the double self handcuff unintentionally. That's what I get. That's what I get for only loosely paying attention because I'm just vibing. Anyone in here looking to take on an orphan campus to Canton team? I got to say, I did one campus to Canton team and that I did like one like Debbie League, and even that for me was too much. I had to call it. One campus to Canton team was enough. All right, drafting out of the 10 slot in this one with Spungos, Tej, Maddie, GKS, Devin, Brandon, Lucky Duck, Blee, D Saddle, John Fernando, and Nice Hendo. It was more that I just couldn't figure out. It was just like a new data set to take in, and I wasn't locked in enough. Do I think that the Achane hate has gone too far? I mean, it's more about how good do we think the Miami Dolphins could be? Because if you look at the worst teams in football, it's pretty tough for the running backs to be that good. I mean, I don't know. Let's actually just go do a test case. So 2025, the worst offense in football was the Raiders. I mean, Genty kind of got there, and then the Browns, who had Judkins, who was useful. So, all right, 2025, I guess you could have gotten there. 2024, the fewest points scored in the NFL, 258. Oh my God. All right, the 2024 Browns at running back gave us Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb and Donta Foreman. What about the 2024 Giants? They gave us Tyrone Tracy, who I guess, to be fair, 1,100 scrimmage yards and 6 touchdowns. I mean, it's not great. It's not great to be that bad. Thoughts on EPL Best Ball? Very excited to play it. I am working on rankings for that right now, actually. And we'll probably have those out for subs. I'm just gonna post them. I'm just gonna post them in the Discord. How did I end up doing in World Cup best ball? Had a team make the finals and had Torres, but didn't have the correct other pieces. Man, let me tell you, I really, 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 really messed up in World Cup best ball because I, until too late, realized I needed to optimize a little bit more for advancing in round 2. So there was this thing in playoff best ball where like basically like if you got a full team through in round 1, you were good to go. But the issue is the way that the World Cup best ball stuff was set up was advancing in round 2 was about as hard as advancing in round 1. So just having France pieces, just having Spain pieces, just having Argentina pieces was not quite enough. You needed guys like Kimmich, you needed Achraf Hakimi, some of the peripheral statistic guys, and I did not optimize for that near enough. So frankly, I made some relatively large mistakes in those formats actually, and I wish that I would not have made those relatively large mistakes. All right, let's do. Well, here I'm going to get a wide receiver, which actually feels nicer. Not getting Jefferson. The Jefferson gravy train is over, so we'll start CeeDee Lamb. Jefferson now just routinely going ahead of McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Lamb Genty would be a fire start here, so I would be very okay with that. What else is going on? What all teams have started training camp? What like big blurbs are we on the lookout for? Let's go. Wow. Still typing in Roto World. I want to know who won the playoff hockey league. I can't see any Hurricanes builds made the finals. I bet PD probably has that stuff buried somewhere on bbmdb.com. It turned out I was too much of a boomer to figure out bbmdb.com and upload all my best ball teams to figure out my EVs, which was a little bit of a bummer. All right. Well, Genty went, so we'll pass that dream up. I probably, I guess I need to skip Hampton on this one. I've become a big Hampton bull against my will. All right, Barkley goes. I'm gonna take Walker on this one, assuming Hampton goes here. Maybe Chase Brown. I don't take very much him. Yeah, all right, we'll do Walker. All right, Lamb Walker. I mean, that's a very, very good start. The Kenneth Walker steam. I predict that big fantasy football is going to be pretty in on Kenneth Walker. Like when all the big fantasy podcasts start, getting back up to speed, I think there's going to be a lot of Walker buzz. Andy Reid running backs, dude. I mean, the history, Andy Reid has been a coach for about a bazillion years, but this is a legitimate, people forget. Andy Reid running backs used to go so nuts, dude. All right, the 2022 Philadelphia Eagles. Deuce Staley, 1,500 yards, 8 touchdowns. I mean, this is like a bazillion years ago, but some of these names are preposterous. Brian Westbrook, 800 yards or 900 yards, 11 touchdowns. Deuce Staley, 845 yards, 7 touchdowns. Coral Buckhalter, 675 yards, 9 touchdowns. I mean, look at all of that production in these backfields. It's insane, dude. The 2004 Eagles. I mean, these dudes are just going nuts. Dude. The people, they'll remember eventually. Shady McCoy. Yeah, I did a video. I did a video on my redraft channel about the ESPN default stuff. It's completely insane. If you have your home league on ESPN, please make sure that you get the season pass on Flock Fantasy for what is it, $34 or whatever. You were like locked in to winning your league if you have good rankings. Torn ACL, meniscus, and labrum along with the turf toe. I wasn't taking Nabers in the 4th. The overreaction to not starting on the pup won't make me want him at the 2-3 turn. I don't know, brother. I don't know. Good player. When you said Westbrook, I expected to hear Akine after it. That is PTSD, Miles. That is big PTSD. I will definitely not be doing this. You can't flip the board with a guy who's routinely been going in the 4th round. That is bad advice on Malik Nabers. I would not be doing that. Any flock rankings for Yahoo? Yes. If you get the season pass, you get the redraft rankings. And in fact, if you do your draft on Yahoo, you get the the best ball overlay also functions for Yahoo. It's not the best ball version of it, but like you have the full overlay. Like you have the draft assistant for your redraft league if you sign up on flockfantasy.com using code Davis. God, dude, sniped on Nabers again. All right, lad. It's got to be one of you guys doing this to me. You guys are rizzing me. That's not the appropriate use of that word. I should not try and be a young cool guy like that. Could just take Loveland and Burden. I mean, there's got to be such a low combination of Loveland Burden teams. I can check that actually. All right, of teams uploaded to the Flock Fantasy website based on our projections. Yeah, 0%. I have 0 combos of those teams. Insane. Mogging. Yes, the term I was looking for was mogging. Yes, I did do my Frenchie 9 entry earlier while I was updating the dynasty rankings. So if you're a Flock sub, I just did a full update to the dynasty rankings. Probably have a couple more tweaks to make there. You know what? Luther Burden. We're gonna do a hero running back team with my guy Ken Walker. Playing EPL best ball makes me understand your cheap smeg so much better. Is Minu even gonna play this year, Chris? That would be cool. All right, Lamb, Walker, and Ladd. So I've got Herbert set up, I've got Dak set up, and I've got Caleb set up, which means maybe I can try and push Caleb. Malik Mog. That's an elite name for a fantasy football team. Malik Moggers. That's what I did. I did get mogged, which is quite unfortunate, but sometimes that's how she goes. And Jaylen Waddle goes the pick right after. All right, this guy, D. Seidel, this guy is definitely watching. Bowers, Nabers, and Waddle. That's a guy who knows ball. And obviously all ball knowers are watching the Davis Maddock Best Ball channel. I mean, I think we all know that. Hey, I just did a whole big video on Luther Burden. If you're really curious, if you want to dive into the true nuts and bolts of why Luther Burden is as good of a pick as he is, I just did a big video over on Maddock Fantasy Football that is all about Luther Burden, titled "The Best Pick at Wide Receiver in Fantasy Football." I didn't check any combo sites, but the other day I pulled Josh Allen to the 2-3 turn because I felt there wouldn't be Gibbs paired with Allen. I mean, I would never do something like that, but I get why people think it's a good idea. It's just not for me. I'm probably too conservative by nature with those things, but here you go. Luther Burden video. If any of you guys want to check it out, the best wide receiver pick in fantasy football, if you're curious. Luther Burden does have a Hall of Fame name. Also, his dad played for the Knicks and was involved in a bank heist. So to me, I think it's just set up like things are going to go very well for Luther Burden. Luther Burden is going to become a historical legend. Just got Chase and Bowers. Is that like the most fun start? I feel like Chase, Bowers, Jeremiah Love is like the most fun start that you can do. Yeah, the Burden bank heist. That's what I'm saying. His dad, dude. All right, I gotta show you guys Luther Burden's dad. I mean, this guy, look at this dude. When you think of like what did cool look like back in the day, it looks like this. Can you name a guy who's cooler than that? Just look at him, dude. He's so cool. All right, I got to read the Wikipedia page. Really is incredible. Luther Ticky Burden. He played for the Knicks and the Virginia Squires. Burden and 3 other men allegedly robbed a bank. Insane. And see, this is the reason why we can do this, because we can take Trevion Henderson right here, and we can be absolutely chilling and still have great wide receivers. Luther Fannin. Yeah, people are saying that more and more. All right, give me Trevion Henderson. Well, never mind. All right, we're going to do, you know what? I'm pushing even further. We're going to take Carnell Tate. I really am. I'm committing to the hero bit. Do you have a favorite random athlete wiki page? No, but I do enjoy going down a Wikipedia wormhole of former soccer players that were playing when I first started watching. So I started watching soccer in 2015, the year that Leicester City won the Premier League. And I love to go through like guys who I just barely remember playing, like Danny Drinkwater. Love it. Love it. Could you do a video about how you think a 2027 fantasy draft would go? It's actually funny, Cloudy Head 0322, because one of the videos I have on my roadmap for the Matic Fantasy Football channel is projecting the 2027 first round of drafts. So that's going to be coming out next week, I think. All right, do I take Price here? I mean, I would also take Bucky here. All right, we're going to take, you know what? I am going to take Jadarian Price. I am not going to take Caleb Williams. If Caleb somehow gets back to me, I mean, an absolute miracle, but I've got multiple quarterbacks set up. Yes, failed wonder kids. If you've played any Football Manager, you know this guy, Eder Alvarez Balanta. If you have ever played Football Manager, you know this guy. Colombian professional football player who plays defensive midfielder. He currently plays for America de Cali, which I assume is in Colombia. But yes, the best. I mean, Andros Townsend was still playing for Luton Town, what, last year, 2 seasons ago? Matty Phillips. I mean, dude, don't even get me started. I mean, obviously we love to play remember that guy with NFL players. Remember that guy with former guys you remember signing in Football Manager is like the purest joy you can imagine. Someday in another life, I will be a Football Manager YouTuber. I mean, probably not, but you can imagine how sick it would be. Ross Barkley being on Villa. Yeah, he's still technically on their books. He played, I want to say he subbed in one of the Europa League games. Dele Alli was playing in Turkey, and then I think he just transferred to, okay, he's a free agent right now. He played 1 game for Como last year. He was on a loan to Besiktas. Dude, Dele Alli, people forget Dele Alli started what? He started a World Cup semifinal, right? Yeah, people did not like FM26. It was a classic not understanding your customer base situation for them, where they tried to mass market a game that is only for the nerdiest nerds in the world. I mean, you've got to be the nerdiest guy alive to enjoy FM. Yeah, he was. He was on the cover of what, FIFA 18, I believe. Dele Alli FIFA. I remember the first year that I played a ton of FIFA was FIFA 17. This card, young player of the month, Dele Alli. This was this was quite the card back in the day. Man, I loved FIFA. Wow. All right. Well, I think we're probably gonna do Jay Herbie here. Is American football actually your favorite sport? No. You're hitting the nail on the head. I chose to focus on it because it has the largest total addressable market, 100%. You have to be much more popular and much better at social media and YouTube and stuff than me to grow an audience doing basketball or golf or soccer or whatever. I mean, I just love sports in general, but football to me is no more special than basketball or baseball or soccer or hockey or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like football, but I just really like sports. I have not drafted any weekly winners yet. No, I might draft a couple before the season, but I've not drafted any weekly winners as of yet. If there were early best ball tournaments for every future season, how far out would you play? I mean, I would play whatever. I would play whatever was available. If they had 2035 best ball, I'd find a way. It would be, I mean, imagine playing 2027 best ball would be sick. I've been saying that one of these sites should in the preseason do a playoff best ball contest. I have been saying that. I think our boy Chad Candles has also been on that, where that would be very fun. Like imagine drafting playoff best ball right now. It would be an absolute blast. All right, we have a 1-2-4 build. Hubbard is fine here. A little bit of an ADP Dipperino on him. Does have that horrible week 17 matchup, and his ADP is falling. I could try and do Mahomes and push Worthy around. Let's do Hubbard. I mean, Hubbard is fine. That's a Leone-esque pick right there. Who is the 101 in playoff best ball right now? Josh Allen. I would assume it's got to be Josh Allen still. Preseason best ball. I mean, Trey Lance would probably be the 101 of preseason best ball. What would you call the tourney for preseason playoffs? Yeah, it would have to be something. Am I going to bring back any non-football content? I mean, man, I would love to have the time to do the take cast again. What is gonna have to happen is my son is gonna have to start going to daycare, which is gonna happen. So hopefully next January I will be able to start doing the take cast again. That is my hope. I mean, can't promise anything, but that is the hope. Probably no time for college football best ball. The Underdog just released EPL best ball today, Nitty D-Gen. I know you mentioned earlier drafters may do Eliminator. Do you think the setup will be like Underdog? That I don't know. I don't think they've finalized that. Josh Allen 52% 101, Lamar Jackson 48% for playoff best ball. I don't know, man. I don't know. People are I think a little bit skeptical of the Ravens. Wife and I have been debating daycare as well. I mean, so he's not going to like a daycare place. He's just going to like a woman who my in-laws know who do daycare here, but my wife and I, we are burning the candle on both ends, because what happens is my wife goes to go work in the morning and then she gets home and then we trade off. So I wake up at 4:30, go to the gym, come home, take over childcare, and then we trade off. So we are not a lot of free time in the Maddock household these days. Which, I mean, you know, whatever my job is. My job is you know, it's a great job. I can't possibly complain. What do we have set up at quarterback? We've got Ward later. Monangai. You know what? Let's take the Plannin. Mr. Fannin himself at 106. I dipped my toes for the first time this year into DK for golf tourneys, open area for some new DFS content. We do some DFS content for golf over at Run the Sims YouTube channel. And we have some cool tools on Run the Sims for PGA DFS. Mahomes cleared for full participation in camp. Who could have predicted? No one could have possibly predicted that this would happen. It's true. They are saying it more and more. Being a father is the best job. It is a job, but it is a good one. All right, do I take Monangai this 12 spots after ADP? I guess if you're going to get some Monangai, you might as well get it cheap. The Jesse Minter upgrade over Harbaugh cannot be overstated. Yeah, I have heard that runthesims.com has a pretty cool portfolio tool. Yeah, if you're interested in getting Mr. Shady Advice's portfolio tool, it ain't cheap, but it is worth it. My concern with Monangai is that he is just like the most vanilla replacement level style player of all time. So I just have a hard time seeing him being like the guy you need. Doesn't mean I'm right. The skeleton key for 2026 best ball is knowing who is on gray market Chinese peptides. I mean, that is certainly true. I think you should probably be stacking a good bit in soccer best ball. How do I view Steph Diggs and Deebo Samuel and them not being signed? I am big on Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is one of my overall highest drafted players. Yeah, I think the moment that Stephon Diggs signs, he is going to become like, my guess is that he signs and he goes in this Godwin, QJ, Metcalf, Lemon, Michael Wilson range on DraftKings. All right, so I've got Lamb, Walker, Ladd, Burden, Tate, Price, Herbert, Hubbard, Bannon, and Monangai. Quarterback is getting it's getting late early at the quarterback position. Similar feelings on Monangai, and then Chicago didn't upgrade unless they think that Xavier Thomas is going to be converted to running back. There's been some murmurings. There's been a babbling brook of potentially considering Xavier Thomas switching to running back, which would be direct competition for Kyle Monangai, and honestly, direct competition for Swift. I do draft a little bit of Keenan. I think I took Keenan in the first draft on this stream, I believe. Yeah, Xavier Cordarrelle Thomas. They're saying it. They're saying it more and more. Aaron Jones. Concepcion gives me another quarterback. I think I'm just going to take Cam Ward here because I'm going to be too annoyed to not get a quarterback. I'll probably take Aaron Jones if he comes back around to me, though. I have so much Diggs. I want to stop clicking, but every time I think about a month from now, yes. Yeah, 100%. I completely feel the same way about him and about Deebo, where every time I click on them, I'm like, dude, I feel like all I do is go in these slow drafts. Like, I feel like every single slow draft I go in, and I'm like, man, I guess I got to click Diggs again. I mean, I guess I'm maybe slightly worried that Diggs might not get signed with the off-field drama plus the on-field drama, but by and large, what happens with these NFL guys is good players get signed. And Stephon Diggs is a good player. Even if Stephon Diggs is a jerk, which according to all reports, he does kind of sound like a jerk, but damn, okay. Missed on Aaron Jones. Do I take Willis to be my third quarterback? Or do I take a wide receiver? You know what? Let's take Willis. Got my third quarterbacks. It feels fine. I like Malik Willis. Mark had his first birdie, messed up the tee shot, but then hold it from 40 yards. You know what? That is a great feeling. Your first birdie, you'll never forget it. Great. I still remember my first birdie on a par 3. It is an unbelievably good feeling. Mahomes officially cleared to practice. No one could have predicted it. Diggs is playing if he still has it. There's way worse stuff NFL teams should worry about. Yeah, 100%. Like this guy James, the Falcons guy James Pierce was involved in, like, was it like an armed robbery, or he was like chasing his wife's car or his girlfriend's car or something, and he's just like easily going to play this year. It's non-zero. Diggs could be a free agent when week 1 gets here, but dudes will be getting hurt. Yeah. And NFL teams, well, what is the best salve when you have when you've got a jerk in your locker room? Winning. And Stephon Diggs has been on a lot of winning teams because Stephon Diggs is a pretty good receiver. He's not he definitely has lost a step coming back from the ACL, and he wasn't a full-time player or anything, but pretty wild. Yeah, the Brandon Ayuk buying a $10 million house in Washington and then not getting signed by the Commanders is wild. I don't know. The Brandon Ayuk saga is so strange to me because it feels pretty clear what he needs to do if he really, really wants to get signed. And it seems like he won't do it. Like he has to file for reinstatement, and then he just has got to stop posting on social media. He just got to be a normal guy. Why don't you just go be a normal guy, brother? He had 10 sacks and the Falcons were like, we don't care about that sort of stuff. Exactly. Having your money tied up for 11 months with only 25K at first. I will be playing, but go with God. Yes, I mean, it's true. Have you, the amount of money it would take for me to like truly never get on social media again is such a high amount. My brain is so addicted to social media. I mean, every day I wish I wasn't posting on Twitter. I wish I wouldn't check Twitter, but man, it's insane. I think making Diggs your wide receiver 4 in drafts is fine. I don't really see much of an issue with that at all. This feels like an Omar Cooper Jr. pick. Yeah. Wide receiver gets thin pretty quickly after Omar Cooper Jr. He's a pretty good pick there. I have not seen the Odyssey yet. No. Hopefully by the time we are streaming on Monday, I will have seen it. But man, tough to get out. Do you think Mahomes really will move up after being cleared for camp? I don't know. That's also hard for me to figure. Do we think Mahomes will move up? I guess he could. Wow, Jacoby Brissett in the 14th round. The quarterback thirst. Quarterback thirst is thirsting. You know what? Greg Dulcich, get your stacks. So now we have all of our quarterbacks stacked. We got Herb stacked. We got Ward stacked. We got Willis stacked with Dulcich. Do I forecast overlay on these main tournaments? I'd be surprised, but you never know. Rico Dowdle versus Kenneth Gainwell. You know what? Honestly, give me Gainwell, dude. Give me a chance to bet against Bucky. I'm not a big Bucky guy. I think Gainwell was like a really interesting prospect, actually. He was a lot better than he was a quite good receiving yards per team pass attempt guy. I think I can pull that up at Memphis, and he played on that crazy 2018 Memphis team. To people, this is deep lore, but the 2018 Memphis Tigers were like the most absurd collection of running backs a college football team has ever had. Like Alabama cannot even mess with this. Darrell Henderson, Patrick Taylor, Tony Pollard. You're like, oh, those guys were not that good. Oh, no, Gainwell was on that team. Oh, no, there was also Antonio Gibson on that team. Antonio Gibson, Kenny Gainwell, Tony Pollard, Patrick Taylor Jr., and Darrell Henderson. Five NFL running backs on one college football team. Alabama can't even fathom. Have I taken any Caleb Douglas? No, haven't taken any Caleb Douglas, but I'm open to it. Only the old Miami teams could imagine it. But even McFadden, Felix, and Hillis, that's only 3. That's only 3. These guys, they're 5 NFL running backs. 5. 5 is crazy, dude. That's so much. And Calvin Austin was on that team. There was another guy. Calvin Austin, and I guess this guy, DeMonte Coxey, never ended up doing anything. Shout out to this guy, Timothy Taylor. Imagine being this guy. Imagine being this guy, Timothy Taylor, who was also a running back on the team and had 29 career rush attempts, never did anything. That's just very funny to me. Like, imagine being the running back on the team who never made the NFL. Miami is going to be tried to be Green Bay 2.0, and Caleb Douglas is probably the best bet to be the Christian Watson in that scenario. I guess it is wild for Gainwell to be peaking, but he was also stuck behind DeAndre Swift and Saquon Barkley. Have any miscreants tried to argue with you? I don't think so. I think this has been a relatively docile fantasy football stream. All right, we're going to take Trey Harris to add into our Charger stuff. We need one more running back, and if I don't get sniped, I know who it's going to be. Who is the love in that scenario? I mean, I assume it's Malik Willis. Malik Willis is I'm kind of interested in betting on Malik Willis. Have I watched the Antonio Williams tape? I have. He seems fine. I have frankly, I have no big opinion on Antonio Williams. I think he's fine. I think the biggest issue for Antonio Williams is that they seem like a mortal lock to bring in a free agent wide receiver. So he is being drafted like he is going to be a full-time starter. And he is probably pretty unlikely to be a full-time starter. Like, I would be, what do we have for Antonio Williams's like route share? 57%. Yes, PFF Bobby is the Mike McDaniel there. Yeah, that is an issue. All right, come on, man. Make your pick and let me get Tank Bigsby as my running back 5 here. Bang. All right. So we've got what? 4 picks left? 4 picks left, and our team is Justin Herbert, Ken Walker, Jadarian Price, CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, Luther Burden, Harold Bannon, Carnell Tate, Chuba Hubbard, Kyle Monangai, Cam Ward, Malik Willis, Omar Cooper Jr., Greg Dulcich, Trey Harris, and Tank Bigsby. All right. For the teams who have won these contests in the past, is there data on when their teams were drafted? There is data on that. And I believe, honestly, I believe the data is most of the teams that have won were drafted in July. I think, but it's generally very broad. Like, there have been teams drafted all over the place. About 85% of drafts are done via fast, and about 15% of drafts are done via slow drafts. And I believe there's never been a slow draft winner of one of the big flagship contests. Yeah, I think the most of them have been June or July, though, which makes sense because ADP is just going to be worse. It's going to be more poorly informed in June or July is the case. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bigsby. I did a video over on the Matic Fantasy Football channel about my 5 favorite running back 2s to draft, and Bigsby is one of my 5 favorite for sure. You're getting, honestly, it's like a multiple bet because you can bet against Barkley. You can also kind of be betting on Kevin Patullo, or betting against Kevin Patullo, and also betting against. Betting that the offense is like so good that like 2 running backs could have a little bit of fantasy value, or betting on the Eagles and that you get like 2 usable scores in weeks where the Eagles blow someone out. Bigsby had a 100-yard game in one of the blowout victories for the Eagles last year. Also, Tank Bigsby is just a great football name. Yeah, I tend to agree with this, that June and July is kind of the cross-section of getting some information, but not getting all the information. Because what you'll notice in August and particularly in September, do you guys know the season starts later this year? The season doesn't start until September 14th. So we're actually going to have extra time to draft this year, which is kind of interesting. I didn't really realize that until recently. Wow, what a surprise. Missed out on all the good tight ends again. This shit is getting so tiring, bro. I actually, on this team, I want to take an extra running back because I didn't take my second running back until Price, and I am going to take Kamani Vidal. I've got Herbert, and that's what you call hedging your bags. It's a little bit of bet hedging there. Bigsby was an okay rusher on the Jags. He was like the worst running back in the NFL his year one. Yeah, it's late and it's on a Wednesday. I assume the reason Justice Hill is not getting drafted is because he's just morphed into like a Nyheim Hines style guy. Patriots Seahawks is September 9th. Is that true? I literally thought I just read this. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what? Shout out Sacrilegious, shout out Shady Advice, shout out Pat Corain. Charlie Collar with Justin Herbert. Give me the Charlie Collar. We call him the Kohler Bear around here. Debo said he has 3 or 4 more good years left. Press X for doubt on that one. Should take Warren and Fannin in one draft. Yeah. I gotta be honest, man. I'm having a hard time with Tyler Warren. I don't necessarily see how Tyler Warren wins if Josh Downs is on the field all the time. Could be very wrong about that, but I have a hard time seeing how he wins if like in terms of targets per route run, he is going to get mogged by Josh Downs. Yeah, someone's got to put their hand on Devo's shoulder after that one. All right, one more time before we get out of here, I want to remind you guys.
I would love to send you $100,000. Anyone who signs up for Flock Fantasy using code Davis until week 17 in December gets a chance to win 5% of my winnings in fantasy football in this upcoming season. Any best ball contest, any big high-stakes fantasy football contest where I take down a 6-figure prize, there will be one entrant randomly selected in December after week 17 who gets a chance to win a chunk of my portfolio. So sign up on Flock Fantasy using code Davis to enter into the drawing.
The worry with Dart and Nabers is they've only played one game together and will not build any chemistry in camp if Nabers is out. Don't care. Been getting more Warren. Dude goes right after the clip. He does go right after the clip. That's true. And my quant does like Tyler Warren. What is my market maker line on Tyreek playing this year? Minus 110 to play this year, but not minus 110 to play in week 1. Like plus 1,000 to play in week 1. Do I take Parkinson just as much as Ferguson? No, I do not. Because I don't think Parkinson has any ability to be a difference maker. Ferguson offers a difference making. He offers a difference making skill that Parkinson does not. He's I mean, it's crazy to be a deep threat tight end. It really is. It's a very, very skilled archetype that doesn't come around all that often. And he also is a decent blocker, which is, again, hard for these receiving tight ends. I'll give you as much as you want Tyreek to play. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe what is so 100,000 plus 10,000 plus 100,000. Wow, my bro thinks that Ferguson ADP is too high. All right. One more wide receiver at least. All right. Where was my boy talking about Caleb Douglas? I haven't bought any of the hype. He was a 3rd round pick. There you go. Caleb Douglas with a round 19 pick. And then Is there a late time? I mean, I could take DK or Io Manor, I guess. Brennan Thompson. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna take Keenan again. Is he still here? No, Keenan is gone. Could take Mims. Could take Cyrus Allen. Jalen Royals, honestly, is probably fine. Jalen Royals actually is probably a good pick in round 20. We'll do Brazel. No, actually, hey, this is for Michael. Super secret pick, Xavier Thomas in round 20. All right, boys. There we go. Wrapped it up. CeeDee Lamb, Ken Walker, Ladd McConkey, Luther Burden, Carnell Tate, Jadarian Price, Justin Herbert, Chuba Hubbard, Harold Bannon, Kyle Monangai, Cam Ward, Malik Willis, Omar Cooper, Greg Dulcich, Trey Harris, Tank Bigsby, Kamani Vidal, Charlie Collar, Caleb Douglas, and Xavier Thomas. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Go check out more content over on Matic Fantasy Football, and I will see you guys back